Hi. So I did want to go over the information that I am going to send to you through PowerPoint. Just kind of a quick overview, but you can definitely read over it on your own when you have time. So the first one has to do with our learning, whether that is in person or digital. Please remember, we do understand if your child is unable to make it to our Zoom. We know things come up or there's not enough technology at home for you to be able to do that. But please keep in mind, however, that the work is required to be done and turned in because it is taken for a grade. If it is something that we were normally depending on to have a grade for, we will give it a grade and put it in the grade book, and your child will get a 0 if that work is not turned in. So please be mindful of that. If you're unable to print out the information, please don't feel like you have to. You can read the information in the packet that we send and then simply write your answers on a sheet of paper. That is acceptable. But it does need, and I can't stress it enough, it does need to be turned in. Also, just try to attend if we do have to go digital. I'm afraid this might happen more and more if this smoke continues, as well as when we have snow days. They will be looking at doing digital days instead, because we already have one day we have to make up at the end of the year. We'd hate to have to make up more days at the end of the year. So kind of please keep that in mind. The other thing that is in our PowerPoint is our daily schedules, just so you are aware of when we have music and computers, what we do in our morning time, what we do in our afternoon times. Remember, good attendance is critical. However, if your child is having any of the symptoms, of COVID, and you believe that something might be going on, it's always better to be safe than sorry and just keep them home. Remember that, again, if they are at home, it's not a free day. They still will get work that we have accomplished throughout the day with the other children. I will send it home, and that needs to be sent back as soon as possible. Because again, grades will be taken, and if your child is missing it, then they will get a 0 and it will be marked as a missing assignment. So please don't be alarmed if your kiddo has those grades if they're not turning in the work. Also, the quickest way to get a hold of me to let me know a child's not going to be in is to Class Dojo me. If your child's going to be out on vacation, that's great. However, if you need the work ahead of time, please give me enough notice so that I am able to get it ready for you. Just a reminder about report cards. They do go out 4 times a year. Our grades are S+, S, S-, and I. And then so that you kind of understand how your child is doing in class, every Wednesday you'll get their communication folder, and I have been sending home their assignments that are graded. So please make sure that you look those over. If you see your child struggling with a particular concept, you may want to go over that with them at home. You are able to sit with them and be with them a little bit closer than I am able to. So if you could do that, that would be great and greatly appreciated. As far as discipline in here, hopefully your kids have told you we use Class Dojo for sure. Those kids who go home with the highest points at the end of the day will receive prizes, and hopefully some of your children have already brought home their prizes and have showed you, and hopefully you've asked them why they received the prize. If not, ask them. They should be able to tell you why they received it, other than they just earned the most points. Was it because they were, raising their hand? Were they participating? Were they being well behaved? Were they doing what they were supposed to be doing? Were they mindful of other people around them? As far as conferences, those were usually scheduled for twice a year. We're not quite sure how we're going to do it this year, whether it be through Zoom or whether it will be in person. But just a reminder during those conference weeks that we get out on early release days. Excuse me. Every Wednesday is early release, so just a reminder, we get out at 2:15. Like I mentioned just a minute ago, our communication folder gives you your child's grade for how they're doing in class, their social behavior in class. They will also receive on the report card an academic grade as well, and this will be based on their work and the effort that they put into it. Take out the graded work, take a look at the grade, initial it, and then please send it back. This comes home every Wednesday unless, we happen to not be in school. Also on Mondays, they get their homework. This is optional. This is not required. However, it is a good reinforcement to the skills that we are working on. So if they could do it, that would be great. Just make sure that if you have a schedule change for your child after school, whether you're picking them up or they need to ride the bus, make sure you communicate that with them. Again, you can always Class Dojo, and I can kind of reiterate that message to them as well. And a huge thank you for those parents who did send in school supplies. We are using those, and the kiddos definitely appreciate having their materials in class. If you have any questions, like I said earlier, feel free to send me an email, Class Dojo me. But otherwise, I'd like to say thank you. I am very appreciative of you giving me the opportunity to teach your children this year. So have a great night, and thanks for joining me.